All right, hello everybody. This is a re-recording of the presentation on the peer review assignment that is due the end of week 13. And so I'm going to try to convey just the same information, but without the glitch with the second slide or third slide that just didn't have, for some reason, the audio was lost, and there's some important information there. So I just wanted to redo it to ensure that that information is conveyed. But the whole point of this presentation is just to give a really clear idea of what the expectations are, and just so you have a really solid feel for what it is you're doing with the peer review. It has some similarities to the book review, but some distinct differences as well. So I'm going to switch over to share my screen. I went ahead and did it as a Zoom video rather than just a PowerPoint, because with the Zoom video, it doesn't start and stop the recording. And so I don't think we'll run into the same sort of problems with a loss of audio. Okay, so let's get this presentation up. Okay, so with the peer review, like I say, due at the end of week 13, it's not worth as many points as the book review. And that's primarily based on the fact that with the peer review, you should not be doing any additional research beyond reading the peer review. All of the information that you need to answer the questions for the peer review should be contained within the peer review, within the book review. So you are in a sort of a general statement on the assignment. You are using a classmate's book review that is on a different book than you did your book review on, to just gain a little bit more understanding of this period. We can look at sort of the facts and figures and dates and all these sort of things, but oftentimes the literature brings a little bit more human dimension into our thinking on these different times that we're looking at. And so it's maybe not just that you're learning about the characters and that sort of thing, but also because the book review is to look at how the characters shed light on the times that they're set in, and what the author's motive was in creating characters like that, and what they sort of flesh out from that time period. Oftentimes, we learn better through stories than through just conveying facts. And so these pieces of literature that you're looking at could be hugely influential for their times. I've seen a presentation recently where somebody put up brain scans of people as they're being read facts and figures versus people when they're being read stories. And the brain is just all sorts of alike in different places when it comes to the stories. But there's really just a few areas that light up when you're learning facts and figures. And some of those overlap and some of them don't. So in any case, we look at these books because of the power that they had to influence the times. And so in understanding these works, we understand the times better, and the possibility they had to influence, and the reasons why, like I said, why the author wrote about the characters and the events as they did is really illuminating for the times as well. As a cultural product, it represents particular thoughts or sort of narratives that were present in the culture at that time. Okay, so you're taking a classmate's book review, and the book reviews will be made available to you. They will be anonymous, so you won't know the name of the classmate that you're looking at. So they will be available to you as soon as they are available to me. So beginning of week 13, or yeah, probably Monday of week 13. And so what you'll do is you'll read that book review. It has to be different, a different book than the book that you reviewed. And then you'll just answer 3 questions. The first 2 are objective responses. So we're looking for a very more methodical approach to things. Whereas with the third, it's more of a subjective response. So you still need to provide an evidence-based answer, but that evidence is to do with your opinions and your personal sort of reaction and response to what you read. So then each of these 3 questions describe which historical issues and or events this work draws attention to. Did the work shed light on aspects of history with which you were unfamiliar? What sources were used in analysis of this work? Are these sources appropriate for this assignment? Why or why not? And then the third one, discuss at least 3 things you found particularly noteworthy about any aspect of this work. And then again, remember, you still need to provide some explanation as to why and what specifically sort of stood out to you. Okay, so then each of these 3 questions, which I've provided below, I tried to break them down to be pretty equally weighted. So each of these 3 questions then will be awarded those points according to the following criteria: whether or not the responses are complete. So you don't just make a statement, but you also provide some explanation, some examples, and some indication of why you feel this is important. So within that, it's important then to provide evidence in the form of explanations and examples. So for the first 2 questions in particular, you're not looking for I think or in my opinion sort of statements. You're basing it on the evidence available within the peer review to answer the questions. Are you using college level writing? Is it clearly written? Make sure you're using full sentences. The organization is clear. And then you're looking at the quality. One of the questions asks about whether or not it's what sources were used, and then are these sources appropriate for this assignment? Why or why not? So you're looking at whether or not the sources are quality appropriate sources, and then if they are, what makes them so, and if not, then what makes them not. Okay, so because the work you're doing for the peer review is so dependent on the work that your classmates did for the book review, I want you to spend some time really considering which one you choose to do, because that is going to impact your answers, your own responses, especially in regard to, well, really all of them, all of the questions. You need to be able to be working with the, good raw material in order for your responses to be detailed, to be really just quality responses. And so as you're going through, make sure you're looking for something that you can work with, and to produce quality work yourself. And so for every book review that is chosen for a peer review, there's some extra credit available to the author, to the creator of the book review. And like I said, it's anonymous, so you don't know who you're choosing. But so if the first person, or the first time that a book review is chosen for a peer review, you get an extra credit point, and then half an extra credit point for each person up to that. So up to a total of 2 extra credit points. So if as many as 3 people choose to review your book review, then that's a possible 2 extra credits, and that's in terms of a final grade. So if you get an 89% for your final grade in this class, then that's 2 extra credit points that would be applied. So you go from an 89 to a 91 in terms of your final grade. So it's some pretty weighty extra credit. And so, like I say, be choosy in the book review that you choose for your peer review. Look for, like I say, somebody that's really put some effort into that gives you some good material to work with. Okay, so if there are any questions about this, please don't hesitate to bring them to my attention. We have a pretty tight deadline with week 13, but that means what I'm going to do is actually substitute this for a discussion board because it is peer-to-peer interaction. And so it'll, like I say, it's a pretty tight deadline, but without the discussion board and without needing to do any sort of original research or outside research, I don't think it'll be too heavy, and it's about 5 points more than the discussion board would have been. So I think that would be an appropriate course of action to just eliminate the discussion board, so you can focus your time and energy onto the peer review. Okay, so I wish you the best. I hope that clarifies any questions you have, but if there are any outstanding questions, then let's get those discussed. Maybe put it up on the questions and conversation board for week 12 or week 13 so your classmates can see it. But if you're more comfortable just communicating via email, then that works great. Or the class meeting, or sorry, the office hour on Monday. All right, good luck everybody. Sink your teeth into it, have some fun.